Well, let's resume the game then. No one had seen Kinzo since the discovery of those 6 terrible corpses, so we might have another corpse on our hand. On top of that, the phones were broken, the radio wouldn't reach anyone, and there was no way to contact the police. Yeah, you guys are kind of fucked. Apparently, the typhoon would leave tomorrow and a boat would come. But until then, no one could rely on anyone outside the island, nor could they escape the island. Also, hold on, let me check something. Is it going through the right mic? Okay, it is. Nice. Okay. Anyway. The tragedy had hit everyone so abruptly that they'd lost all their composure. Everyone felt a heavy silence. Everyone was impatient. Even though they needed to do something, they couldn't think of anything. So some of them held their heads in their arms, while others got irritated. They are having a mental breakdown. Right now, no one could explain what was occurring on this island, Rokenjima. Well, I can explain what's going on. People are fucking dying. After that, we ate the breakfast Kumasawa-san had made, which felt dry and tasteless. I guess it's better dry and tasteless than filled with poison, huh? Some of them held their heads in their arms. Their own heads? Or the heads of the dead bodies? I hope not. I hope not for the second one. Yeah, let me just get Rudolph's head. Hold on to it. It can be dry, tasteless, and poison. Well, let's hope that's not the case. Of course, this was right after something like that had happened. Could you imagine, like, the murderer just, like, spiking everyone's tea so that they could murder them, maybe? Like, Kumasawa-ba-chan is the murderer. She gives us tea and makes us fall asleep, and then she murders us. No one felt particularly hungry. However, we understood logically that not eating would weaken our bodies. It would also be rude to Kumasawa-san, who had made the breakfast. Kumasawa-san had taken some unusual Western vegetables, one that Goda-san had probably ordered for his ultra-elaborate meals, and cooked them in a Japanese style. Also, I'm gonna assume each chapter of Umineko has like a different, like, murderer, culprit kind of thing. Or at least an implied murderer or culprit. I don't want to go into, like, Higurashi spoilers for those that know Higurashi, or those that don't know Higurashi, I should say. Like, each chapter kinda had, like, a perceived culprit. Yeah, I know what you mean, yeah. So I wonder who the perceived culprit for this is. I want to give Elio some bitter almond-scented water. You trying to kill me? How about I give you some pilk? Let's see. Goda-san had probably ordered for his ultra-elaborate meals and cooked them in a Japanese style, which made them turn an unpleasant color. As to what Goda-san had been planning to cook with those ingredients, I'll give you some silk, cyanide milk, hey! Some kilk. Right then, I couldn't even imagine it. Also, welcome, Leonix! Hello! If I did think about it, I'd be reminded of the way Goda-san died, and a sour taste would fill the inside of my mouth. Everyone pretended to eat for the time being, but of course, no one made much progress. Then we began pooling our knowledge of our current situation. First off, 6 people, which included Uncle Kraus, my dad, Kirie-san, Aunt Rosa, Goda-san, and Shannon-chan, had been found in the Rose Garden storehouse as brutally mutilated corpses. What did I miss? Not much. Not much. Everyone's just eating breakfast after discovering that everyone is dead. Heaven high, I heard hello. High five! Low 6. And yet, we still couldn't contact the police since both the phones and the radio were unusable. So, until the typhoon passed, there was nothing we could do. God, I love that emote. The fucking cat. I think like my favorite thing about that cat emoji is like it turns its head and then it like stops abruptly and then it continues to turn. I don't know why that's so funny to me. Furthermore, grandfather, who we might have hoped would be able to show a little leadership in this kind of situation, had disappeared some time ago. Goda-san hadn't made breakfast, so grandfather's stomach must have been empty. Oh yeah, I heard of that kind of thing. It's called a GIF. Leadership. And if he had just been taking a casual walk, we should have been able to hear him whining about how hungry he was by now. And despite that, he hadn't appeared. Well, I guess he got something to eat then. Or he's dead. One or the other. Hello. Hello. Hi, Overtaker. How's it going? Heaven Daichi. I heard hell EO. Purgatory Hibiki. There was more than a small chance that he'd gotten caught up in this crime. According to my aunts, on their way back from Kinzo's study, they searched for him, calling out on every floor, but were unable to find him. Considering the timing of it all, it's only reasonable to assume that this disappearance had something to do with the crime. We figured Dad and the rest were probably killed in the dining hall, and then painstakingly moved to the storehouse. So maybe grandfather has already been killed and dragged to some strange place which we simply hadn't discovered yet. No one actually said it out loud, but this theory seemed extremely convincing. Yeah, how is my favorite chat doing? And streamer derogatory? What do you mean streamer derogatory? I'm gonna put your employee in the meat suit, Overtaker. It rained all day over here. Oh, it's raining over there? Thank you for the head patch. I still can't make me not notice that you called me that, Overtaker. We will go check that all the windows and doors are locked. We must also conduct a thorough search for father. Overtaker didn't call you that. Thank you for the bop chat, Leonix. Hold on. Let me get out my bop stick. Overtaker called you streamer derogatory. Very different. Huh? What do you mean? Hold on. Let me move up a bit. Okay, you're gonna see this pink thing for a sec because I moved down. Hold on. Take that away. I mean what I meant. That does not equal streamer derogatory. What's that, huh? What's that, huh? Also, I wanted to say, I wanted to commission something this month, but I didn't get enough money to like really have the money to do any commissions other than the ones that I already put in. But I just wanted to be known that I was going to commission art of me with a bloody bat. With the remains of chat on my bat. So I guess you guys are lucky that I am living in poverty and I can't do that right now. I don't know, but that is not what Elio called you. What Overtaker called you. How dare you hurt my best bud, Overtaker. A menace. Oh, I now realize what you meant by rebrand. Eh? Nani? Today I bite the bullet and bought a Sprite when I did a pixel art of an eye and realized that those were the most creepy pasta eyes I've seen in my life. When I wanted to make cute eyes. Ooh, that sounds really cool. I want to see that. I really want to get into like doing sprite art too, but I always get into things and then stop midway. Oh neat. Well hey, you managed to accomplish something still, yeah. So good for you. Good on you, Linux. Okay, let me bring this back down. Well, I could be wrong, but who called Elio? Oh, okay. Yeah, I got it now. I'd love to see more yandere art, but why are we the ones getting obliterated? We have never done anything bad to you. Okay, person that just called me streamer derogatory. Even more, we even made you Eiffel. Eh? Eh? I fell for it? I fucking knew it. I fucking knew it. Bruh, why are you guys like this? Can I please enjoy my visual novel? Can I please enjoy my reading time? Do you have any idea how little that narrows things down? I didn't lie. Boy. Anyway, back to the game. Must also conduct a thorough search for father. The children must remain in this room. Eva-san and Hideyoshi-san, I'm sorry, but please stay here with the children. I'd like to ask you the same, Dr. Nanjo. I understand. I will wait here. Aunt Natsuhi followed the servants, Genji-san, Kumasawa-san, and Kanon-kun out of the parlor. All that was left was Aunt Eva, Uncle Hideyoshi, Dr. Nanjo, and the 4 of us children, a total of 7 people. At this rate, the stream will be Starry Bunny Boy when he cries. Let's all stick together and maybe watch some television while we wait. Thank you for the head pats. I'm gonna slap your hand while you're head patting me. There. Gonna bite you and give you rabies. Though I doubt we'll find anything good in the middle of the day on a Sunday. Uncle Hideyoshi started acting cheerfully, trying to brighten up this gloomy atmosphere. Good show! Watch it! Oh, really? Also, apparently she's watching Higurashi, which is really funny, cause Jackie sent me like apparently in like the updated like game, like the PS3 or whatever, it actually shows like it shows Lane. Why can't I say her name? It shows Reina on it, And like in the anime too, they're watching Higurashi. Yeah, that's what I meant earlier. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, so Maria's been watching Higurashi this whole time. You wanna watch TV, Maria-chan? Then come and watch it with your uncle. Oh wait, I was playing on original last time, huh? We'll play on new images today. Maria was the only one who joined in. I have ranted to my friends for about 20 minutes thus far about this patch note in the DBD test server. I have never seen the developers just so blatantly lie about something that's so crazy. Eh? What's going on with DBD? Even though Maria has been told of her father's death, she didn't show the slightest flicker in her emotions. Is it really normal for a 9-year-old girl like Maria to act so much like a very young child? Okay, so like I think the reason she's not really like reacting to it is just because she is a child. Like a lot of kids don't really process that stuff. Like I think I was, let me see. Yeah, I was about the same age as Maria when my grandma died. And when I went to my grandma's funeral, I just thought she was sleeping. Everyone else's mood failed to improve, and they each sank absent-mindedly into their sofas. Aniki, can I ask you something? As in, the change they said didn't happen, or the motive for the change is different? Okay. Higurashi is a couple years before Umineko, yes. Killers now look down at the ground, with their view being locked at the ground when they hit a survivor. They called for this a bug fix and said many killers do not follow the rule. It is not a rule. It does not exist. It never once existed in the fucking game. They are just introducing a new mechanic and calling it a bug fix. And the only way you can justify it as an actual thing requires actual malicious half-wording that involves specific killer powers and not basic attacks. So they are being malicious or incompetent. Oh, Lord. What is it? Huh, sir? She's 9? Yeah. And if it was a rule, that's up to them to implement it anyway. Yeah, true. Just now in the storehouse. You said something about Shannon-chan in a ring. Please don't talk about it. I don't want to hear it. I didn't understand either. As a child, you're like, huh, weird reunion, but death is not something I could suffer. It's weird to think about, yeah. Like, if someone were to just be like you're 8 years old and they're like, yeah, your mom is dead. You're just like, what? But I just saw her like this morning or whatever. I just saw her last night or whatever. What does that mean? Did you give that to her? Further, they implied it was never meant to work like this. So either way, they're incompetent, yeah. Not communicating well with the user base. George Aniki didn't answer, but he hung his head and closed both of his eyes. There could be no clearer response. And further, they implied it was always meant to work like this. God. Quit it, Battler. Shannon. Please don't talk about Shannon. I'm still healing. Figure it out yourself. So over the 7-year course of this game, nobody who worked at their company played killer for longer than 1 minute to hit a survivor once to notice it was not working properly. It absolutely blows my mind. It's beyond parody. You're right. I shouldn't have asked. That's right. Oh, the music! It was me. Last night, I proposed to her. You fucker! I was supposed to propose to her. No wonder she's dead. Elio, you need to get over it. She's shan off now. Sorry, I had to. Hey! That was when I gave her the ring. Alright, I'm done. I'm sorry. It's all good, dwarf. I told her that tomorrow she should put it on whatever finger she wanted. That's her answer. This was a pretty pretentious thing to say. We were like laughing our ass off with my cousins on the playground 1 hour after Grandpa passed. Thanks for the memory unlock, Elio. Oh my god. Oh my god. And that ring had been on the ring finger of Shannon-chan's left hand. Ugh, it should have been me. Well, several years ago, Shannon came to me asking for advice. I haven't even played the game in ages, but I have no clue how people are not more mad about this. What about you, George Nissan? I wonder what she could have said. Shannon was always really bad at lying. His fiancé is dead, Elio. So rude. It should have been him, not her. It's not fair. Is that better? It was obvious pretty quickly that you were the one she was talking about. She asked whether it'd be okay for her to get close to someone, even though she was only a servant. You fucker. I'm sure he wanted to. Sorry, what? I'll hydrate, bruh. You were a child when that happened, right? Yeah, like 7. You mean when you were 7 years old, not 7 years ago, right? Yes. She asked about what kind of things boys like. What kind of clothes she could wear to make them happy. Lots of stuff like that. Well, I guess you could say I felt envious hearing her say that. Woo's and Camellia collection. The Slap game remaster? Eh? So then she was given an engagement ring. And it all ended right there. Wait, what? No way, I love it. Eh? Woo's and Camellia? What's that? Woo's and Camellia? Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. It was this game. Oh my god. I never played this game, but I've definitely heard of it. Oh my god. Also, hold on. It has been a long time having that up. Get rid of that. Then she was given an engagement ring, and it all ended right there. Different people value things differently. Meat outfit works, I guess? Let's go back to OG sprites. The comically massive tits distract from the emotional scene. But being proposed to by a man, well, it can be the high point of your life. When I was 7, I think my family would shun me if I was a grown-ass adult and did that. Yeah, they'd be like, damn, you insensitive ass. So I'm sure last night, I'm sure Shannon was happy from the bottom of her heart. Happier than she's ever been since the day of her birth. Georgianiki sighed deeply without raising his head. Pretty sure I mentioned it, because something in Cinderella phenomenon reminded me of Rose and Camellia. Yeah. God, yeah. It was a really long time ago. I had to, like, look up the images for me to remember it. But yeah. I definitely remember being told about that, so it must have been you. And maybe tears had risen to his eyes. It seems Shannon was on duty in the guest house last night. But because she was too embarrassed to go back to the guest house with me, she went over to the mansion. And think about how Shannon must have felt. When you receive an engagement ring, then no matter how much warning you've been given beforehand, it's perfectly normal to get so excited that your mind goes blank. She must have been incredibly embarrassed. And then Shannon went to the mansion, even though she hadn't been assigned there. Helped Goda-san with his work, and got caught up in this crime. Yeah, excited, sure. If only I hadn't given her that ring. Yeah, you shouldn't have given her the ring, you bitch. Yeah, a normal person would be like, oh, it's fine, George. You didn't know what was gonna happen. Yeah, no, I'm blaming you, George. You killed her! Those are the eyes in general. Let me see. Oh, damn. In retrospect, I def exaggerated, but I still don't like them. I think it looks nice. I like it. I like the, what are they called? The eyelashes. And the detailing on the brows look really good. On that day, in that place, Shannon wouldn't have... Sayo wouldn't have been caught up in that crime. True. You're spitting straight facts, George. Repent. Aniki. It's the one place where you're wrong. No, he's right. It's definitely wrong. So don't cry anymore. Keep crying, it makes me feel better. Butler-kun, let's leave him be. After Aunt Ava said that, I stopped talking to him. Misplaced words of comfort might actually do more harm than good. Yeah, I'll give him words of threats. That'll do way more good than harm. And if there's harm, that's good. Jessica sat down next to Aniki and put an arm around him. Maybe only Jessica, who had known about Aniki and Shannon's love since the beginning, and who had even discussed that relationship with Shannon, could comfort Aniki now. I went over to Aunt Ava and sat down in the opposite sofa. Butler-kun, you really are strong. It looks like you've kept a good hold on yourself. Well, look. The death of the love becomes the death of the wound, right? After all, it's not like how that old bastard died has anything to do with me. I feel bad about Kiryu-san, but, well, she wasn't actually my parent. My. If that's so, you certainly were crying a lot back then. Well, I did think at least that much crying was due as gratitude to the parent who raised me. But, Battler, you're being slick. You're a crybaby. The speed of that changeover and that dry tone must have come from Rudolph. That kid would always get violently happy, sad, and angry. But he'd always regain his cool immediately afterwards. Wow, what? First George, now Battler? Yeah, I guess I came to the Umineko stream out for blood. It's nothing like that. I haven't really been able to get over the shock yet. I think the only difference between me and everyone else is the kinds of emotion it stirred in me. What do you mean? Wow, first George, now Battler. Elio is Crudelio. Cruelio. I don't care if you're mourning. You're next, Elio Lappy. Oh, what is this music? I've been acting much calmer than George, Aniki, and Jessica. That wasn't because my sadness was any less intense, or because I'd already recovered. My sadness was simply getting replaced gradually with a different emotion. Rather than sad, I'd say I'm more pissed off. Are you gonna go murder people with a bat? I hope Ava is next. I don't like her. Yeah, I have a feeling Ava... Okay, I've been thinking about this for a bit. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if next was Battler, yeah. I'm like thinking on who like the perceived culprit is, because I don't want to say culprit in this situation. Because if I were to make any guess, I would guess like Beatrice is behind this. But if we are to assign a human culprit to this, my assumption is maybe Ava. She's the only one of the parents that are still alive. Well, like, in the case of, like, Ushido-miya family parents. Rosa is dead. Rudolph is dead. Kraus is dead. Why is Ava the only Ushido-miya family head that's still alive? And the explanation is that they went to sleep, sure, but... it's kind of been eating at me that I didn't get a chance to smack him upside the face. That was what I really wanted to do. I know this is a chandelier, but it looks like weird goop mold. Couldn't forgive myself if I just sat there, overwhelmed with sadness and hugging my knees. Since the time Dad and the others were killed, this island has been covered by the typhoon. I don't know if we'll get a culprit this chapter. Maybe we'll focus on Beatrice here, and next chapter one of the family members. Maybe. But there's gotta be a reason these people died. Which, my immediate assumption is Beatrice, obviously, but... yes, that would seem to be the case. I wonder if they're hiding somewhere in that dark forest even now. I felt like I'd have a very similar conversation with Kirie-san the night before. That's right, I blame Oyashiro-sama. That's right, after the letter from the person claiming to be Beatrice appeared at the dining table last night. We talked about whether or not a 19th person actually exists. IDK, I saw Kinzo venting. Well, no one can see him, so you might be right. Well, Ava, do you think this murder has anything to do with the letter from Beatrice last night? Ah, that one? Well, I wonder. Pretty sure George is venting right now because of the death of his fiancée. Crying in the corner. All the siblings agreed that the mysterious letter was sent to further complicate the problem of father's inheritance. As to whether that and the case this morning are related, it's impossible to tell at this stage. Was that letter really given to Maria by some witch called Beatrice? I had the worst fucking idea for a meme, hang on. Oh god. How could it be? All of it was a farce devised by father, wasn't it? He made Shannon-chan or someone wear the dress from the portrait and trick Maria-chan, right? There's no such thing as a bad idea for a meme. Isn't that just the kind of overly intricate prank father would pull? Last night, I talked with Kirie-san about whether Beatrice actually exists. And Kirie-san also said that Beatrice was probably one of the 18 of us. Isn't that obvious? There's no one else on this island besides us, right? Then there must be someone amongst us who's pretending to be a Beatrice. Damn it, they spelt it amongst us and not among us. There's no one else but us on this island. You think? Obviously, right? Beatrice is the 19th family member, lying hidden somewhere on this island. Watch out for her. Are you saying there could be someone else here other than us? I've been saying that this whole time. It's a whole ass island that you guys haven't explored completely. No one is on this island except us. How do you know that shit? There are only 18 people. So the one pretending to Beatrice has to be one of those 18. I swear to God. Kiryu-san denied the existence of a 19th person by spinning the chessboard around. Even though Aunt Ava hadn't constructed an argument that complicated, her opinion at least was the same. How'd you know that shit? Wow, now you're calling them shit? I agree, everyone is dead. Because the ones who are still alive are getting murdered by words. Except for Maria, I would never be cool to my little baby Swoingly Doingly. Except, if that's the case, our situation starts to look very ugly. At the time of Beatrice's letter, the whole thing could be passed off as a prank set up by someone or another. However, if we're assuming there's no 19th person, we can't ignore this anymore. In other words, if there's no 19th person, then the culprit who killed Dad and the others is also one of the 18, right? The fact that they are trying to just be like, oh yeah, there's no 19th person. There's no way that there's a 19th person. Even though the facts that I am looking at this objectively say there could be a 19th person, makes me think that it's a way to be like, oh yeah, no, get surprised. There's a 19th person. So in other words, the person who killed them is one of the people inside this very mansion right now. Aunt Ava smiled meaningfully. It looked like she thought this conclusion should have been obvious from the very beginning. The culprit carried the bodies of those 6 into the storehouse. Okay, new theory based on absolutely nothing. Maria will be the first sus person. How? The incident. Where did she get the umbrella? But she's a child. Can you just imagine? Can you just imagine Maria murdering them and dragging them into the storehouse? Batley, I did it. Well, honestly, if she did, good for her. She killed her mom. Good payback. Karma's a bitch. And so is Rosa. Rosa is also a bitch. But even that was an impressive feat, don't you think? That shutter is always closed and locked, right? Children are scary. Ooh, Umineko when they commit murder. In other words, in order to carry them into the storehouse, the culprit would need to unlock the shutter. Understand? Is it possible the shutter was left open by mistake that day? Well, it was locked, but The servant said it's always kept locked. In other words, unless the culprit took the keys from the servant room, there's no way they could have opened the storehouse. You'll see. You'll all see. Is she just Jackie just sitting there? With a grin on her face, looking like Gendo Ikari this whole time with the theorizing. I wonder if the key in the servant room was the only one. Kenji-san said that was the case. Which means the culprit knew where that single key was kept and took it. Just now, I watched when Kanon-kun returned the key to the servant room. The wall was packed with keys, and I don't think a novice would know where or what those keys went to. The culprit was miraculously able to find the storehouse key among all of those. Furthermore, even though the key didn't have a tag or anything stuck to it, they knew it was the key to the storehouse behind the rose garden. And that means they also knew where the storehouse was. I'll say it even clearer. The culprit knew the inside of the servant room well. Her argument was extremely plain and clear. I mean, yeah, but I mean, isn't everyone here able to, well, I guess like other than Maria and maybe Battler, maybe George, but like everyone else here like grew up on the island, so they would probably know the keys, or they live on the island, like Jessica, what was her name, Natsuki, etc, etc. I encourage all theorizing. It's fun to see people's reasonings. The bodies have been found thrown somewhere in the bushes of the rose garden. There wouldn't have been much to go on. However, if there was only one key to the storehouse in the servant room, and it was stored with such a large group of keys, a novice would not be able to tell them apart. You sure? Okay, I think Elia is the culprit. Hey! This means the culprit was someone who went into the servant room a lot and was familiar with the locations of the keys. Damn, she's saying the killer is among us. The family members didn't normally go into the servant room. Elio sus. Which means that one of the servants is the culprit. He was clearly in a blind rage after learning Shannon was getting engaged. Okay, why would I murder Shannon? I would rather murder George than Shannon. I want to marry Shannon. I can't marry a corpse. I'm sorry, but even I can't tell you any more than that. However, I'll tell you one thing. Obviously, the culprit is Beatrice, and she used magic. Hopefully, Magic the Gathering. I think would be very fun if she pulled them with cards. Send them to the Shadow Realm. What's that? Typical yandere behavior. Listen! I would rather kill George than Shannon. Especially if I'm being yandere. It's unreasonable to think that the culprits are multiple in number and fairly well armed. They'd have to be, wouldn't they? Igarashi had scary kids. That's true. Okay, but my reasoning behind Maria being the first sus one is mainly meta. Yeah, true. It's always the kids. They're all like traumatized and like willing to commit murder. They had to assault the four in the dining hall and kill them, drag a total of 6 bodies all the way to the storehouse beyond the rose garden, and arrange for that disgusting makeup and the graffiti on that shutter. Though there is a reasoning for that. That isn't just the kids yearn for violence. And she can't be with me, she can't be with anyone. There's no way that a single culprit could carry all of that on their own, right? It's simple, Elio. You tried to kill George, but Shannon didn't let you. Oh, damn. Makes sense. Probably would have been possible for a single person with enough time, but it would take so incredibly long. It's probably safe to assume that a significant number of people were involved. Everyone here! We all murdered someone. Whew. You're intimidated by his superior fighting style. So, what you're saying is that maybe all of the servants were in cahoots? Please keep it quiet, okay? So while trying to push her back to go kill George, you accidentally killed Shannon. And then you decided to make George suffer by killing more family members. What is this? This is where I watched my Shannon die, Maria. Please use hashtag. Oh my god, hold on. Very good meme. Very good. Okay, how does this look with my model? Oh, whoops. There we go. I'll move myself down. Very good shitpost. It wouldn't be right to voice mere speculation like this. And if it really is true, what would you do next? They might not let us leave here alive. It's Takano. It's always Takano. This is the opponent who had no trouble killing Nissan and the 3 others. Right now, the only ones I can count on to fight with the 3 in my family and maybe you, which comes to a total of 4 people, right? We're no better off than they were last night. In short, it'd be easy for the culprits to massacre the rest of us. I've been playing detective with Aunt Ava, trying to expose the person who killed Dad and the rest before the police did. If only I could cleverly penetrate the culprit's identity and stick the proof in their face. You gonna penetrate the what? I've been so sure that, just like in one of those detective movies, the culprit would then give up and surrender. However, the culprit would only surrender if there was no way for them to fight back. Oh, he's with a hydrate. Let me stretch out. Oh, listen. They gave me that one for free. The hydrate was honestly unrelated. It came at the right moment. I just thought, oh hey, it's been a while. Then you say that. Good timing. I'm so hungry. I'm gonna eat some chips. The culprits behind the crime on this island were far from helpless. They might even be able to massacre all of the remaining people here. And on top of that, this island was like a giant closed room, cut off from the outside world by the typhoon. So they had a full day until tomorrow to kill, scheme, and camouflage themselves. In short, it wasn't a safe atmosphere where we could get very far by playing detective. To the contrary, we were at a stage where we had to be scared stiff, since playing detective might displease the culprits and cause them to commit another mass murder. Looks like I'm gonna be speaking in the speak for 2 minutes. Or should I say, speak? I'm gonna use my Maria voice for this. Well, it is just a possibility, right? But I can't bring myself to trust the servants yet. And that doesn't mean I only suspect them. Don't you think there might be some mastermind behind all this? A mastermind? There's always gotta be a mastermind in these death game visual novels, don't there? Why do you say that? It's just a feeling. Think about what the word servant literally means. It means someone who serves as someone else's arms and legs, right?
It was a bunch of Oshido-miya family members who got killed. So, naturally, there must be someone involved who stands to gain from that result. This was also point and real. The Oshido-miya family had been right in the middle of discussions about who to distribute the inheritance when grandfather died. You are so lucky I didn't see that reward during the corpse discovery stream. I would simply refuse. If this case followed the standard form of any classic mystery novel, the crime was definitely caused by someone with ties to the Oshido-miya family and who was involved in the inheritance problem. Oh, look! Aunt Ava had probably read a few books in that genre herself. Her argument may have been... Wait, hold on. Okay, I can go back to talking normally now. Her argument may have had a few blind assumptions in it, but it was a standard conclusion that anyone might have reached. Legalized nuclear bombs! I think most people would end up suspecting the servants, even if they used different reasoning to get there. Especially the story about the key to the shutter. That made it very easy to suspect that one of the servants was involved. What is this? If only I could cleverly penetrate the culprit's identity, right? And that's why I don't like it. Oh, what do you mean you don't like it? Nah, just talking to myself. I tried to dodge her question by joking, but I couldn't erase the sense of unease welling up inside me. After all, her conclusion was such an easy one to reach. A conclusion that anyone could reach. And I just couldn't be satisfied with that. If I tried spinning the chessboard around like I'd learned from Kirie-san, this was exactly why a servant couldn't possibly be the culprit. If the servants really were the culprits, they wouldn't hide the bodies in a place connected to themselves. See, I'm thinking it's Ava. I am thinking it is Ava. If we were to apply this to a human being that is not being affected by magic or anything. I just want to say that I do think there's magics involved. I do think Beatrice is involved. But if I were to go off of that path and be more realistic, or like grounded in reality, not really realistic, but more grounded in reality, I think it might be Ava. And like Ava talking to Battler about this stuff, like guiding him along in that way, could be a way to take suspicion off of her. Why on earth would they use the Rose Garden shed if they were the ones in charge of the key that could unlock it? Yeah, like... The police would probably immediately pursue whoever had been in control of the key. Like, Ava... Other than the fact that her family members died and stuff, Ava can only stand to gain from this if she does not die during this. Because Ava is the last one alive of the 4 family members. And then, so she's gonna get the inheritance. Yeah, that is a big if. Yeah. I just want to reiterate that this is a big if. This is not like my main theory here. I do think magics is involved here. But this is just an alternate theory I have as like a side thing. But I could see Ava maybe be manipulated to want to kill people. And that is because she has nothing more to gain from this. And then she can easily blame it on the servants. And then Shannon got killed as well. And I think part of that is because she didn't approve of the marriage between George and Shannon. Like, you saw how she reacted to George with Shannon's corpse as well. That's another key thing here. Like, she didn't approve of the marriage between them. So that could be one reason why Shannon also died. And it could also be a way of getting rid of, like, the whole lady dress up as Beatrice kind of thing, or something like that. So you're saying Ava is a red herring or a pawn of the culprit? I'm not sure right now whether Ava is a red herring or a pawn of the culprit. I want to say I'm feeling more a pawn of the culprit right now. Like, maybe Beatrice or something. Like, I could see, like, maybe Beatrice being like, hey, if you kill all these people, I'll give you, like, cool powers or something. I don't know. Or, like, you get the inheritance or whatever, and I'll aid you with, like, magic or whatever. So that's kind of the feeling I'm getting right now. So probably pawn of the culprit. Like, Beatrice is the mastermind, but Ava's the one that, like, brought about the murders. That's the feeling I have right now. It has even possible that some other facts might come to light as a result. The more we think of the servants as the culprits, the less reason they had to carry the bodies into the storehouse. But what if they knew we'd think that, and put the corpses in the storehouse for that reason? No, that's completely impossible. When the police come and inspect the scene of the crime, they'll probably be able to uncover many things. No matter how carefully the culprits carried out that murder, some traces will definitely be found. But what if there was magic involved? In other words, they had everything to lose and nothing to gain. Yeah, but Ava had everything to gain from this situation. So yeah, I think it's Ava. I think it's Ava. If you think about it this way and look at this murder game from the culprit side, it's hard to imagine why they'd want to call attention to the corpses. Once the corpses are found, it could result in someone setting a report to the police, or it might make the remaining people more cautious, or it might make the servants start to search for the culprit. None of these things would make life any easier for the culprit. It's just like the words of the main character's mother in a novel I read. Really? Really? Just like the words of the main character's mother in a novel I read recently called Higurashi no Nakukoro ni fucking Keiichi. Every story needs to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. Oh my god, I love this. Jesus Christ. Okay, so Higurashi is a novel in this world. So no wonder Maria was watching Higurashi on the TV. I guess they made an adaptation of the novel. Eliminating that beginning is essential for the perfect crime. Right now, we don't know where grandfather is. Is that what I think it is? Eh? Hi, Kippies! Welcome! We don't know if he's already become a victim or if he's one of the culprits. But this state of confusion must be beneficial to the killer. Oh, Higurashi, I mean? If you mean the one anime where a bunch of kids go crazy and murder people, then yes. Yeah, it is. Yeah, this is another game in like kind of the same series called Umineko When They Cry. The culprit had absolutely nothing to gain. It's by the same creator as Higurashi, basically. The culprit has absolutely nothing to gain by showing us the bodies in such an obvious way and making us all realize there's been a murder. Wow, Elliot just said Higurashi is just an anime, ignoring the visual novel. No, I'm saying Maria was watching the anime. Oh wait. Well, I figured if Kippies saw Higurashi, it would probably be through the anime. So I guess you're right. I mean, Kippies maybe read the visual novel and not the anime. In fact, this is the perfect place to spin the chessboard around. In other words, showing us the corpses in such a flashy way must be the culprit's goal in and of itself. So, at the very least, to the culprit, the appearance of 6 corpses there meant more than the deaths themselves, huh? To make it look like it was Beatrice or something? I don't know. I'm so excited to see you go through this. Oh, hi, Tiberian! Thank you! I'm enjoying this a lot. This is an interesting case. The fact that six people already are dead is just damn. In other words, the culprit wanted this murder on display. To whom? Wow, you just assumed it? SMH Elio, SMH Coco has the right to play VNs too. I'm sorry, Coco. To us, this is a message. Oh, Kinzo must be dead. Maybe. I mean, if I was correct about it being that Ava killed everyone to get the inheritance, I mean, why not kill Kinzo too, right? The culprit's trying to shove something in our faces. To be fair, I know it's a visual novel but never touched it, but I did see the anime first, and technically I think I peeked at a manga too. I mean, I didn't finish it. It's more like a friend was into it. Yeah, I used to be really into Higurashi when I was in high school, but I never got into Umineko for some reason. I think I just heard like at the time I wasn't like much of a visual novel reader, or if I did read visual novels, it was of the kind that you can't stream on Twitch kind. I wasn't interested in watching the anime because I heard people say the Umineko anime was bad, so I was like, oh, I'll play the visual novel someday. But yeah, back in the day when I read visual novels, I would just read like Saya no Uta, Yume Miru Kusuri, what other visual novels? But if you know what those visual novels are, you probably know what kind of visual novels I was into back then. I don't know what it is. At this point in time, this vulgar mass murder isn't making me feel anything except a malice directed towards all of us. Malice towards all of us, is it? You could have literally just omitted saying that. Damn it, is this... Oh, okay. Elio, do not click on this. Alright. All I know of Higurashi is that one meme where Peter is smoking crack and one of the girls was cheering him. What? Yeah, the Higurashi anime is fine. I say this as someone that started out with the Higurashi anime and then went and read the VNs. The Higurashi anime is fine in my opinion. Each one of the survivors has some kind of connection to one of the 6 victims. Uncle Krause's death brought Jessica the grief of losing a family member. The deaths of Dad and Kirie-san brought me sorrow, while Aunt Rosa's death brought Maria sorrow. Oh no, not Saya no Uta. I read that when I was younger too. Well, yeah, God, how old was I when I read that? I think I was like 16 or something when I read Saya no Uta. Somewhere around that age. Let me look for you. I've seen Go and Sotsu, but that's it. That one? Let me see. Family Guy, Higurashi, Rika, Furude. Peter Griffin, funny moments. Oh my god, Nipa. What the fuck? Show it to chat. Okay, hold on. Let me mute the game. Nipa! Bring it back up. Let me show you guys.
Crack.
Go, stop it! Do window capture. There you go.
Crack.
Nippa! God. どうしたですか? Griffith-san? Crack. Nippa! Goda-san's death probably shocked his fellow servants. And Shannon-chan's death brought grief both to George Aniki, who had proposed to her, and Kanon-kun, who had loved her like an older sister. I definitely... Oh, you single and Sotsu, that's it. I definitely enjoyed it, but apparently it wasn't that popular. Yeah, don't they have like a Higurashi gacha game right now that like a lot of people hate? Because like apparently it has a lot of really sus art of like literal children. I have no idea what she's saying, but you go, little anime woman. I like when she says Nipa. She says, "What are you doing?" And I think I heard Takara. So it's probably a line from the like remake that they just forgot to take out the name from. Nipa! Everyone now on this island has received an equal amount of sadness. Aunt Ava was sure that the servants were in cahoots. But then, how could you explain the deaths of Goda-san and Shannon-chan? At any rate, by this argument, the grief caused by the 6 deaths hit everyone but Aunt Ava and Uncle Hideyoshi. Yes, Rattler, you're going to the same conclusion as me. So since he's going to the same conclusion as me, we're probably wrong as fuck. Let's go. I think I've seen clips of the gacha game, but I never looked into it. But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised, yeah. And they apparently have a lot of crossovers with other VNs. Like, I heard that they had like Clannad, Kanon, I think they had a School Days crossover too, which is really funny to me. Even Aunt Ava, who had directed suspicion at the servants and acted as though she herself was beyond suspicion, could not be ruled out as a suspect. In the first place, she was able to argue that the servants were suspicious by focusing on the shutter's key. But if you look at it from a perspective of motive and who would gain, Aunt Ava's name rises to the top of the list. No, listen. School Days was so mid. Listen, I get it, Linux. Please read the manga. Please read the manga. The protagonist's personality in the manga is so different. He's such a fucking asshole in it. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible how he is in the manga. But that's what makes it entertaining. School Days definitely matches in terms of tone. He's definitely more of an asshole in the anime. No, you don't. Okay, hold on. It was the. Hold on. There are like 2 different mangas for School Days. I just need to check. Because his personality is a lot more like overtly like yeah, I'm gonna cheat on everyone in the school. I'm gonna manipulate these people so I can sleep with as many people as possible. But he's definitely more of an asshole in the manga than in the anime, yeah. I feel like in the anime he's a bit more, I don't know the right word, but yeah. Manga version of him is just... Okay, we're not talking about the same manga then. What is the one with the guy? The manga has like this one guy that like has a crush on the girl that the protag is dating, right? And then he suspects that the guy is not a good guy and like investigates into him. Is that the manga that you read, Fi? And the manga I read, it was very normal until the very end. Let me see. Let me see. Because there was a guy and he like dressed up as a girl to like see if the protagonist was gonna like hit on him and stuff to like prove that he was a terrible person to the girl he had a crush on and stuff. Let me see. Adaptation. God, what was the manga? Was it Cross Days? Okay, it was Cross Days, I think. Was it Cross Days? No. Was it? Either way, there was like a guy that like saw. Yeah, okay, it's Cross Days. It is Cross Days that I was thinking of. Pretty sure. Pretty sure it's Cross Days. Okay. But yeah, it's like completely different. Yeah, I think that's a manga adaptation of a sequel game. Yeah, okay. I'm not that knowledgeable about School Days to be I remember reading that and being like, dang. But I never like read the VNs, so I know what you're thinking, Battler-kun. Huh? Oh no. Please don't tell anybody about how my head's so full of obscene stuff. But yeah, in that manga, the protagonist of School Days isn't like the protagonist. He's like the antagonist of Cross Days. At least the manga. I'm not sure if the visual novel still has him as the protag or not. Yeah, all my information is from the wiki. I didn't want to watch it or watch someone play it, but I was curious. Yeah. I'm the one who's gonna gain the most from these murders. Since I'm going to be suspected anyway, I might as well get it out in the open. I tried to dodge the issue by joking around, but apparently it didn't work. The inheritance will be divided into as many parts as there are siblings. But right now, I'm the only one of the 4 left. All of the assets of the Ushidamiya family will become mine. The manga I read was just a regular love triangle until like the last chapter. Yeah. Yeah, definitely not Cross Days then. If Uncle Hideyoshi heard you, he'd say, could you give it a rest? It's not funny. I'm sorry. I was just fooling around since I'm gonna be suspected anyway, no matter how much I try to smooth it over. That's why, from my point of view, this murder might have been designed to cast suspicion on me. School Days is so mid that they decided to finish it with a bad end just so it could be remembered for something, the anime. Like, School Days has always had, like, the main thing is, like, the love interests get yandere. Because of his cheating and stuff. Unfortunately, my alibi for last night is weak. Could you tell me a bit more about last night? As you know, the discussion between the siblings of how to slice up and eat the inheritance continued until late in the night. But I don't know how late it lasted. Okay, no, I disagree with that. I keep hearing that, but I highly disagree. If you just like the anime, fine, but I'm 100% convinced that was intended to be a bad end from the start. Yeah. Like, I'm pretty sure... I haven't read the visual novel, but I heard that there were a lot of bad endings or not so much bad endings, but endings where you die or where terrible things happen because you are innately a terrible person as the protagonist if you cheat on girls and stuff. Like, I think the message is that, like, you know, the guy was cheating and stuff, and that's not good. Like, the main thing that makes School Days the game stand out is the bad endings, yeah. My husband and I had woken up early that morning. We were so sleepy, and a little past midnight they let us go. Also, I'm trying to remember this one anime I watched. Was it this one? Yes. So, I remember watching this one anime called Kimi ga Nozomu Eien, or Rumbling Hearts. It's apparently based off of a visual novel, which I am not surprised at all. But, like, have any of you ever read or watched Kimi ga Nozomu Eien / Rumbling Hearts? Because, dear lord, the places that anime went. We then returned to the guest house and rested there. Why do I keep needing to play devil's advocate here? I don't think I have. It is really interesting. It starts off pretty normal, like romance, like love triangle shit. But like it goes into like tragedy at one point, and then it just like so much drama, and just like it's fucked up. It is actually fucked up. Just oh my god. Jesus. Like one girl like gets in like a car accident and she falls into like a coma and shit. And just in a good way or in a bad way, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I watched it and I was enraptured by it, but I also was like, this is terrible. You know? Like, I enjoyed it, but I was also just like, damn, this is terrible. Like, not, like, it wasn't bad, but it was terrible. It was terrible what was happening. You know what? I get you. That's my take on a manga called Boys Abyss. But yeah, if anyone is interested in watching like a drama-filled, like a love triangle romance that goes places, Kimi ga Nozomu Eien, I recommend it. The first few episodes are very normal, what you would expect from like a love triangle stuff, but it goes places that I didn't expect it to go, and I enjoyed it. Can anyone other than Uncle Hideyoshi prove that? No, wait. It's not like I suspect you or anything, okay? Oh, are you sure about that? Is it like so dark that you basically start thinking, oh wow, another dark thing unfazed? Well, like, it's kind of like a school day situation where, like, the protagonist is just terrible. The protagonist is just very terrible. And, like, it is very, like, school days adjacent for, like, stuff that happens, I think. But, like, I think it goes harder than at least the School Days anime did. I don't know if it counts as proof, but when we returned to the guest house, we were greeted by Genji-san, who asked if we needed a towel. Like, there is, like, a time jump that happens in Kimi ga Nozomu Eien. And, like, when you get to the time jump, that's when things go insane. Like, it's very normal romance anime love triangle bullshit until the time jump. I think that should be enough to prove we returned to the guest house a little after midnight. Though, if my theory was correct, the servants would all be in cahoots, and that wouldn't actually make for much of an alibi. I think Boys Abyss goes too hard too early and it ends up being ridiculous how much every single character needs therapy. Oh god. Hey, you got a point there. Shout out to Madoka Magica. That one didn't pull its punches. Yeah, I'm a fan of Madoka. And Urabucher writes some good shit. Guess that means I'm playing detective with the real culprit right now, huh? Honestly, I think the super ecchi, ridiculous girlfriend zombie manga the author also wrote was better. Eh? All I can think of is as like super ecchi, ridiculous girlfriend zombie manga that like came to my head was like, what was it called, like Shangri-La or something like that. But I don't think it was that crazy. However, let me say this for my honor's sake. If I was after the inheritance, I'd never commit such a bizarre set of murders. I mean, I said that School Days was intended to be like that from the start, but that doesn't mean I'm looking for things like School Days. Yeah, I just think, I don't know. I thought the drama in Kiniga no Zomu Eien was really good. It felt like I was watching like one of those soaps. Like Times of Our Life and shit. After all, if I just wanted to make them forfeit their rights to the inheritance, it wouldn't matter to me how they died. It'd be much smarter of me to try and make their deaths look like accidents. Especially if you're assuming I laid out some careful plan that involved even the servants. You've got a point there. If you're killing someone for personal gain, you definitely shouldn't make it look like a murder. Exactly. That's why I'm in such a blue mood. I really liked Made in Abyss. TLDR, the mangaka who wrote Boys Abyss also wrote a manga where a guy can see ghosts of boys' first loves. And also has a ghost of his first love following him around. And then it's a love triangle between a girl who's pretending to be a guy who was his first love, and his delusion / hallucination / ghost version of the same girl. The same person wrote ultra edgy, depressing series Boys Abyss. That is a wild description. That makes me want to read it now. The police will probably treat me like the mastermind and investigate all sorts of things. It's super edgy. I'm not gonna lie, I'm up to date with the Made in Abyss anime and I low-key regret it. It's bad. I was already sold. No need to go on. Oi. Ava shrugged with a bitter smile. It was just as easy to suspect Aunt Ava as it was to suspect the servants. So, if we spin the chessboard around, Made in the Abyss has a lot of uncomfortable scenes, to say the least. Oh. See, that's why I'm not interested in watching Goblin Slayer or whatever that anime is called. Does that make it impossible for the culprit to be her suspicious as she is? However, if that sort of argument always works, then motive can never help us in any way. A lot of episodes make you regret eating while watching it. Oh. Yikes. No, that can't be right. Knowing the motive must have given us powerful clues towards knowing the culprit. That's why murderers from all time periods disguise crimes in complicated ways, cleverly preventing their motives from being discovered. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Every time I spin the chessboard around, it keeps flipping from front to back and back to front. Are my thoughts bringing me closer to the truth? Or are they... Remember when they were trying to cut the arm and failed to do so? That was some nightmare shit. 10 out of 10. Ava didn't want to talk any more than that, so I folded my arms and headed to the window to cool my head a little. As I looked over the parlor, I saw George Aniki and the others gathered, talking. It looked like they were talking about the magic circle that had been painted onto the shutter. As Uncle Hideyoshi thought back to that time, he started drawing the shape in the margins of Maria's notebook. I see. Since Maria was second only to grandfather in knowledge of the occult, she might understand what it meant. I think it was probably something like that. I don't remember. I'm not gonna try to remember. There was a mark that looked like a variation of a cross. And then, surrounding the circle all around the perimeter, were those closely packed strange letters on all four sides of the cross, and in the four corners there was something written. It didn't look like the alphabet or something like that. It was what they call ancient characters. And around the top of the circumference, there was a small mark. 5 small circles arranged in a plus sign, and straight lines connecting them. Ah, yeah, there definitely was something like that down there. Yep, there's no mistaking the shape. I don't understand the thin characters, but the arrangement was nearly the same. Everyone was staring down at the shape, so I stared down at it too. From what I'd heard, this had been painted on the shutter to the storehouse with some material that looked like blood. Yeah, I don't know. With, like, Made in the Abyss, I don't know why, but, like, I would always hear people talking about Made in Abyss and how it's, like, depressing and terrible and stuff. And normally, that makes me interested in watching something, but I don't know why. Like, when I would see screenshots for Made in the Abyss or whatever, I always got, like, vibes of, like, magical girl site from it. And maybe I was wrong about that, but, like, I do enjoy, like, terrible anime and stuff, where, like, bad things happen and people get traumatized and stuff, but I don't know, man. Magical girl site was just not it for me. It was just, like, some anime go in, like, the depressing zone way too fast and way too hard to where it's not enjoyable, you know? I don't mind that, but at times it's just pain for the sake of pain. That was the feeling I was getting from it. That's how I feel with Magical Girl Site. Pain for the sake of pain. Suffering builds character and all that. But, like, if you put too much pain, it starts to just feel like a fetish or something. I don't know. There's a difference between, oh no, this character is suffering so much in order to get this done. Yeah, you get used to it. Yeah. Like, again, like with Magical Girl Site, it was just like, yeah, yeah, you're suffering, but like, what's the point of it? Yeah, you get used to it, and then there's no point to it. Yeah, it becomes routine rather than shocking. It's like, oh yeah, what next shocking thing is gonna happen? Oh no, her brother is terrible. Whoa. Oh, what next? Oh, person that they're related. Oh no. Like, it just becomes boring at a point for me. And there's, yeah, this character's suffering because they have to, yeah. Like, obviously a lot of anime that I think is good does go the whole, these characters are suffering because they have to. But I feel like a lot of what makes something good is, like, sprinkling it with other stuff. Like, not just a non-stop pain train. You know? Like, you have to have a good amount of, like, hope for stuff before doing terrible things. And, like, it does make the terrible things have more impact than just being non-stop pain train, you know? So that was why, like, when I saw Made in Abyss, and people talking about it, I was just like, this feels like a bit like Magical Girl Site. So I never checked it out. I see, this sure is settling. This sure is unsettling. My issue is how the characters suffer. That's true. Okay. Like, it can still be just non-stop sad. It can just be non-stop sad. for anime and stuff for me to still enjoy it. Like what did they call it? Nakige? Nakige? Not Nukige. I know what Nukige is. It's not that. Nakige. Things that make you cry. I do enjoy that genre a lot. But I don't know. It's probably why I don't mind Yoko Taro's works, even though it's suffer central, because it at least has a point in his stories. Yeah, like you need to have a point for why they're suffering, not just I'm gonna make them suffer. I think that is more of the feeling at the end of the day. Like there has to be a reason for the suffering, and not just I'm gonna make them suffer because I want them to suffer. Okay, there's definitely a point, like what Leonix said. Personally, don't feel that is what happened in Made of Abyss. All the pain had context and rewards, but I won't debate how other people feel towards something. Okay, so I said it's not quite the same, yeah. And again, I never watched Made in Abyss. I never watched it because I had a feeling that it was kind of like Magical Girl Site adjacent. But in the case of Magical Girl Site, I guess it did have a point at the end of the day. But I don't know. At least in the case of Magical Girl Site, it felt so much like they were trying to do a Madoka with Magical Girl Site. And just like kind of failed at it. Seriously, where did he go? I want to grab him and ask what the hell this is supposed to mean. Jessica's voice contained impatience and anger. She hadn't gone so far as to say grandfather was the culprit. But she seemed sure that grandfather knew something about the culprit's background. And maybe it's because I came into Magical Girl Site kind of knowing how the mangaka is just naturally, because I read Magical Girl of the End, which is very similar to like plot beats and stuff. So I was like, okay, yeah, this is just gonna be a constant torture train, isn't it? And I was right. And so I was like, yeah, I'm just not feeling it. I got bored of it. And then I kind of had the feeling that like the mangaka himself was kind of like, it was kind of like just like torture porn in a way. Of course, if you were searching for a link connecting the Yoshida Miya family to the occult, 10 out of 10 people would think of grandfather. Also, to a person who knew nothing of the occult, the strange mark would have no meaning. Mogeko Castle. Mogeko Castle is my least favorite Funamushi game. Which is, like, really sad, because I do enjoy some elements of Mogeko Castle, but I hate the Mogekos. Like, I really liked the ending with, like, the brother and stuff. But so much of it was just, ugh. Which meant that this might have been something addressed to grandfather. That's right. And the reason the crime was shown to the survivors was so they'd find this. In that case, where had grandfather, the essential recipient of this message, disappeared off to? Does this shape ring any bells? Maria looked at the shape with a serious face. Maybe she was enthusiastic because this was her area of expertise. However, her appearance was that of someone separated from the events at hand. As though this thing hadn't been drawn on the shutter closed around her mother's corpse. My first impression was that the design resembled a German cross. Ah, it certainly does have that kind of design. Does that mean it has something to do with Germany? The German cross was originally a crest from a religious order of knights, and was supposed to protect pilgrims traveling to sacred places. So, in other words, this magic circle might have some religious meaning? This is starting to sound like gibberish. When I looked over at them, preparing to jump into the discussion, something shocked me. Maria was smiling. An eerie and incomprehensible expression on her face. Oh, Maria! It was almost as if she was making fun of everyone's ignorance. It was an expression I wouldn't have dreamed to find on Maria's face. And she laughed. That eerie, jarring laugh. It was something I didn't want to believe as possible, even though I was looking at it right in front of my eyes. Okay, random question. Did you play a game that had a guy with glasses called Cross? Shit, that sounds very familiar. That sounds very familiar, but I can't like put where I think I've heard that. You people aren't even close. Can't you tell just by looking? I hate how Mogeko Castle has the most engaging gameplay, but my least favorite concept. Yeah. Also, Maria is cooking. Oh, we got the good music now. Let's fucking go. I don't know why hearing Cross just made me get the image of a guy with glasses in my head. Is it the Gray Man? Are you thinking of the Gray Man? While everyone was busy being scared out of their wits, Maria kept on cackling happily by herself. I'm imagining Maria doing the Germa sus face. Yoshi is kinda doing it. After a while, that laugh was suddenly and abruptly cut off. But her expression still looked like it belonged to someone completely different from Maria. I could be going insane. I didn't watch that anime, but maybe? No, not him. This is the 7th magic circle of the sun. The characters are written in Hebrew. Remember when I said Maria will be the first to be sus because of meta reasons? I feel vindicated. Give it here. Ah, sure. Maria stole the writing materials from the stunned Hideyoshi's hand. She then started drawing another magic circle with a rustle, right next to the one Hideyoshi had drawn. See? It looks sorta like this, right? God, that expression. What does that look like in the original? A lot less creepy. I like this one. Yes. It was. Way more smug, yeah. Maria, incredible. You really do know a lot. Jessica tried to smooth things over by praising Maria. Maybe she wanted to confirm that this was still the Maria we all knew so well. But Maria didn't answer her in any way in particular. Maria began swiftly writing unfamiliar characters in the corners of the shape. When Uncle Hideyoshi and Dr. Nanjo saw them, their eyes immediately began to open wide. Written on the top and bottom, and left and right, are the names of the angels who preside over wind, fire, earth, and water. Tisan, Avel, Porlock, and Taliyahai. And in the 4 corners are the names of the 4 great kings. Ariel, Seraph, Tharsis, and Cherub. Is that what you saw? Even if they hadn't been able to correctly write what they'd seen, when they were once again shown something identical, it wasn't difficult for them to realize the two were the same. When Maria asked them whether it matched, Uncle Hideyoshi and Dr. Nanjo nodded over and over again. There's no mistake, that's it. I'm sure there were characters that look like that. How were you able to write something like that? There were also characters written around the circumference. I know. Like this, right? Maria quickly began to surround the circumference with more Hebrew writing. It's from Psalms of the Old Testament, the 16th and 17th verses of the 116th Psalm. You must have at least read the Bible, right? She's so fucking... She's so fucking smug, I love her. Acting as though knowing this was only common sense, Maria laughed. Damn, I'm loving this side of her. For a while, everyone including me was at a loss for words. Who let this smug orphan enter? A little later, George Aniki returned to his senses and slowly managed to speak. And that's incredible. I was surprised. So, what meaning does this magic circle have? It's a magic circle to borrow the power of the sun. He who wears it as a talisman, drawn in gold, shall be able to break free from the bonds of any prison and receive the power to gain freedom. To break free from bonds? And gain freedom? It sounds deep. The word bond is not limited in its interpretation to some kind of physical object. Therefore, it does not only hold meaning for people locked up in an actual jail. It can also refer to the release from mental bonds, such as ties of obligation and inescapable fate. Ties of obligation and inescapable fate, you say? The first person that came to mind with that was Natsuhi for me. It's maybe Natsuhi? That's also pretty deep. But I really don't understand. What does this have to do with those 6 bodies? Far from being released, they were killed and stuffed in a storehouse, weren't they? It's not like the magic circle was drawn for their sakes. The 6 of them were there for the sake of the magic circle. It is truly pitiable. What do you mean? What in the world do you mean when you say the 6 of them were there for the sake of the magic circle? Maria lifted up her pointer finger and waggled it as if she was making fun of us. Goddamn. I love her. That's written around the circumference. Can't you read it? Psalms chapter 116, verses 16 and 17. I'll read it for you. The Lord has freed me from my chains. So smug. I love her. My daughter. I will offer to you the sacrifice of thanksgiving, and will call on the name of the Lord. See? See, you say? I've got no idea what you're talking about. I only read the part about Abel and Cain in the Bible, so that's all I know in the Bible. You're saying they're human sacrifices? If what Maria had just read aloud was a vital part of the magic circle, then it was saying that sacrifices had to be offered in order for this magic circle to be effective. Elio? Damn, this kid really just knows specific parts of the Bible from memory. I read through a good chunk of the Bible lately and it's pretty wild. God's kind of an egotistical jerk, but gets away with it because he's God. Yeah, okay, I say I only read Cain and Abel, but I have definitely read, like, New Testament and stuff, because I used to be, like, I used to go to church, and I used to have my own Bible, and I would read it and stuff, but I don't remember half of the shit I read. So good on Maria for remembering specific verses off the top of her head, because Lord knows I don't. But yeah, God is kind of an asshole. Like, the story about the guy, I forgot what his name was. But there was a guy that got, like, everything taken away from him as a testament for how devoted he is for the Lord or whatever. Like, Abraham, yeah, him. Like, that was fucked up. But good job, yeah. Crazy how God told Moses to use a Beyblade one time and never again. Then again, it was a good use. Elio, yeah, like that's fucked up. That's fucked up. Like his family died, and like everything got taken away from him, and then I think he got like a life-endangering sickness or something, and then it's like, you did not curse my name, or whatever. You're a great follower of the Lord. Like, bitch, okay, you tested me. Can you give me my family back, please? Sir? A heartbeat later, everyone else seemed to reach the same conclusion. Some people were shocked and others spat out that was insane as they punched their knees. Now the crazy part about that is that he didn't need the Beyblade. God literally mind-controlled the Egyptians and chased them to their deaths when they didn't want to! God! This is starting to get incredibly disturbing. And I couldn't accept it or understand it. I don't care what kind of magic circles or curses other people believe in. I won't pick a fight with them. But they really killed Dad and the rest as sacrifices for crap like that? I just couldn't stand that feeling. Compared to this, I preferred it when we were still disgusted by that theory about the fight over the inheritance. You know what's fucked up? How they traveled the desert for months, and then they built a bowl with gold. Where did they get the gold from? Beatrice. Oh, Beatrice! As I started getting pissed off with a feeling between anger and sadness, I broke from the circle everyone was in and returned once again to the window. Something had gone insane since yesterday. There was that letter from the witch, Beatrice, that Maria had read aloud at last night's dinner. Ever since that point, it feels like this whole mansion and this whole island have been getting more and more firmly locked inside some kind of bizarre world. That's right. Yada yada does it. When I think back on it, that letter was an invitation from the witch. The ruler of the nighttime island had invited us inhabitants of the day into another world. The phone and the radio had been interrupted and the island was shut off by the typhoon, so we really could call this place another world, cut off from the real one by now. Yeah, as this island is now, it's perfectly normal for a witch to send us letters, and for human sacrifices to be offered up for the sake of magic circles. So, what will happen next? Some weird people wearing goat masks start doing the Bon Festival dance or something? It's hopeless, I don't get it! Inside of my head's all screwed up. Don't even know what to think. Anger, sadness. The opposing emotions all swirled up together and they started to suck me in. Unable to resist, I do nothing but cover my eyes with my hands and trust to my mind and body as I started getting sucked in. Goddamn. Alright. I think I'm gonna stop there for the day with Umineko. Very, very nice, smug child stream. So I like how we had that image of George saying, "This is where I watched my Shannon die," Maria, and Maria being like, "Please use vent." And we see Maria being like this today.